Hi, welcome to SPR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is our daily MLB pitching preview show. Right now we're looking at the card for Saturday, August 1st. This has been a pretty successful show, especially recently, Joe Duffy. How you been doing at your website, offshoreinsiders.com, as well as you've been doing in this show?
Yes, it's ironic. I have to admit the second half, the post-All-Star break, has been a little streakier, where the first half I was the mark of consistency. But as always, the winning streaks have outlasted and outnumbered the losing streaks. But it's been a little too streaky in the second half, driving me nuts. But we're still winning.
First game I want to circle and point out to you, Joe Duffy, is Matt Moore and Joe Kelly at Boston, right? Both these guys have been struggling badly. Matt Moore has had, I think, 4 straight off starts, since he returned to the majors. This game just looks like it's going to be at least 4-4 by the end of the 5th inning, and the total might be a 9.5 or 10. Is this an automatic over here, Tampa Bay at Boston?
Well, great minds think alike, because that's exactly what I had marked down, that those people that like to bet the first 5.5 innings think the over could be a great play. Both of these bullpens are very likely going to be used early, so I think, again, for those sports books that do have a total in the first 5 innings, the over would be a strong play. You're right. Neither one of these pitchers have been doing well whatsoever.
Okay, and now let's go to the Dallas Keuchel start, right? He is obviously having a great year. He's coming off a subpar start at Kansas City, and if you look over his game log, the last time that happened, he had a similarly bad start on the road at Seattle, came home and threw a dominant 13 strikeout, complete game shutout against the Yankees. His last 3 home starts as of right now have been absolutely awesome. 24 innings, no runs, 1 walk, and 32 strikeouts. Those are some amazing numbers. Seems like it's setting up for a strong start from Keuchel, and of course, Arizona's lineup is nothing special. Do we think we have a big pitching matchup here, a big pitching advantage here for Houston, and can we expect a super strong start from Keuchel?
Not necessarily a big pitching advantage, but a very low-scoring game, as Jeremy Hellickson in his last 4 starts has a 1.88 ERA. I would agree that Keuchel, he's almost certainly going to bounce back. Look, if it weren't for right now, Zach Greinke obviously is far and away the Cy Young Award winner, but Keuchel's one of these guys that will be, a strong candidate to be among the leaders in the Cy Young. He's having a phenomenal year. I expect him to bounce back, but Hellickson's been pitching pretty well too, so this could be a very low-scoring game. Of course, it'll be a low total, but one of those cases where even a low total, you might want to consider betting it under.
Yeah, Hellickson's had an awesome July, but of course, before that, he was getting hit pretty hard. Do you think that his July results were fluky or kind of predictive of what to expect from him going forward?
Well, there's no question that who is the more proven pitcher, that's a slam dunk. Obviously, Keuchel is, but Hellickson seems to be in a pretty good groove right now, and until he really gets out of that groove, and then maybe he'll be in a bubble burst situation, I would say he's a little tough to go against, but clearly this is not the best spot for him, so therefore you might expect for it to be a low-scoring game.
And then 2 promising young pitchers going up against 2 relatively weak lineups, Matt Wisler and Aaron Nola in Atlanta at Philadelphia. And Nola's last start was better than the final line indicated. He kind of blew up in the 8th inning, but before that was having another strong start. And Wisler has been generally effective as well. Both these lineups are relatively weak. I'm thinking maybe we get 2 decent starts of both these guys, and look for an under in this one. What do you think?
Yeah, and then Whistler's splits. He's pitched much better at night, and this is a night game on a Saturday, exactly as you said. 2 horrible offenses. In the case of Aaron Nola, remember, he was a stud. He's expected to be one of the top prospects in baseball, and he has pitched very well in his first 2, and neither one of these offenses are good. Actually, the Phillies' offense had been slightly better since the All-Star break, and the Braves have the colder offense, but all in all, the Phillies are one of the worst offenses in baseball. So I don't know how either one of these teams are going to score, especially since both pitchers have been rock solid, and especially Whistler at night.
Okay, and then let's talk about Lance Lynn. He's kind of like a younger, even better version of John Lackey. Lackey gives up like 2 runs and goes 7 innings each start. Lynn kind of gives up 0 or 1 run and goes 6 or 7 innings each start. He's going to be starting at home against Colorado. Do we expect at least a great start from Lynn? And then on the other side, Jorge De La Rosa is often decent on the road. He's kind of a shaky guy in general, but somehow one way or another usually winds up not being hit too hard when he goes on the road. I'm thinking maybe we see an under here with St. Louis. I'd lean towards St. Louis, except we've been seeing a lot of minus 200 lines from them, and this one's going to be in the same range.
We have been, and I do have a system. I will say that if the Cardinals are off of the win, it may fit into a pretty good system to fade them. Of course, it's one of those systems that is a notch below 500, but because you're almost always going with a big underdog, it does win a lot of money. But you're right. Lance Lynn, his ERA has been continuing to drop. He's been the mark of consistency. There are no really weak spots in the St. Louis starting rotation, but as far as an under-radar guy, I guess Lance Lynn is as close as it gets. I can't see, any spot where you can say that Colorado has a pitching advantage here, but we do find out that the Cardinals might be in a good go-against kind of letdown situation if they are off of a win. And as I think some people know, we do record this before the Friday results.
Well, those are my tentative leans as of right now. I'm thinking about an over in Boston, an under in Atlanta, Philadelphia, and definitely looking for super strong starts from Keuchel and Lance Lynn. Is there anything you want to point out to us from Saturday, August 1st, Joe?
I think there's a couple pitchers that seemingly hit the wall. Seattle, Mike Montgomery got off to that splendid start, 1.62 ERA after his first 7, but the world has caught up to him, 7.09 in his last 4. So I got a check mark next to him to look into possibly fading him. And Cody Anderson, remember, he was lights out in his first 4 starts, but he's given 11 earned runs in his last 8 2/3. So I think both of these guys are still in what I like to call the bubble burst situation.
Joe Duffy's website, once again, offshoreinsiders.com. His final picks you can find there. Thanks, Joe.